Kayumas was the first king of Persia, a realm of beauty and order under his wise rule. However, the dark force of Ahriman, an embodiment of evil and chaos, seethed with jealousy and sent forth a formidable Deva to destroy him. This Deva, filled with malice, struck down Siamuk, the beloved son of Kayumas. The king, shattered by grief, succumbed to the sorrow of losing his son. Husheng, the grandson of Kayumas, ascended the throne, bringing wisdom and innovation. He bestowed upon his people the gift of fire, mastered the art of irrigation, taught them to till and sow the land, and named the beasts of the earth. Under Husheng's reign, Persia thrived. His son and successor, Tarhumas, carried forward this legacy, teaching the arts of spinning, weaving, and writing. Tarhuma's rule was prosperous, yet it was Jemshid, his son, who truly transformed the kingdom. Jemshid, a mighty monarch, divided society into classes, established the calendar, and constructed grand cities and walls. However, pride consumed him, and his people, disenchanted by his arrogance, called Zohak to take the throne. Zohak, a noble youth from the deserts of Arabia, fell under the influence of a malevolent Deva disguised as a servant. One day the Deva, pleased with Zohak's gratitude for a fine meal, requested to kiss him between the shoulders. From this cursed kiss, 2 black serpents emerged, demanding the brains of Zohak's subjects for sustenance. Fear spread as the Serpent King's monstrous appetite depleted the population. The blacksmith Kowa, whose children were demanded as food for the serpents, rebelled. He raised his leathern apron as a standard, rallying the people under its banner. Together, they sought Ferdowsi, a descendant of Jemshid. Ferdowsi, a young and just leader, overthrew the tyrant Zohak and ascended the throne. Ferdowsi fathered 3 sons, Irijah, Tuar, and Silim. Testing their bravery, he divided his kingdom among them, giving Irijah the kingdom of Iran. Despite receiving equal shares, Tuar and Silim envied their brother and, in a fit of jealousy, murdered him. Irijah's son, Minichia, reared by Ferdowsi, grew up to avenge his father, defeating and slaying his uncles. Soon after, Ferdowsi died, leaving Minichia under the guardianship of Sam, his loyal Paliva. Sam, a childless ruler, was overjoyed when he finally had a son. But the child, Zal, was born with silver hair, and fearing the rumors of his enemies, Sam abandoned him on a mountaintop. The cries of the infant reached the ears of the Simurgh, a mythical creature part bird, part human. The Simurgh, moved by compassion, took Zal to her nest and raised him with her own young. Regret tormented Sam, and in a dream he learned that Zal was alive, cared for by the Simurgh. He sought out the nest, finding his son and taking him back with immense gratitude. The Simurgh, tender in parting, gifted Zal a feather from her wing, instructing him to burn it if ever in danger, and she would come to his aid. Presented at the court of Minichia and then taken home, Zal was educated in all arts and sciences. During his travels, Zal arrived at the court of Mirab in Kabul, a just ruler despite his lineage from Zohak. Zal heard of Rudabeh's beauty, Mirab's daughter, and she of his valor. Through Rudabeh's cunning, they met and fell deeply in love, despite the anticipated opposition. Zal and his father pleaded before Minichia, who, swayed by astrologers' predictions of a mighty warrior born from this union, relented. With Mirab's consent, Zal and Rudabeh married in grand ceremony. Their son, Rustam, was born a giant of a child, destined for greatness. At 1 day old, he was the size of a 1-year-old, and at 8 years, he matched the strength of any hero. Norda, who succeeded Minichia, saw Persia defeated by the Turanians and Afrasiab took the throne. Zal, whose father Sam had died, overthrew Afrasiab, placing Zu on the throne. Zu's reign was brief, and his son Garshasp succeeded him. When threatened by the Turanians, the people sought Zal's help. Zal, growing old, sent Rustam instead. Rustam, eager to prove himself, selected his faithful steed, Rakush, and embarked on a series of heroic exploits. Garshasp was too weak to rule, so Zal sent Rustam to find Kai Kobad, a descendant of Ferdowsi. Together, they defeated Turan's forces. Kai Kobad reigned wisely for 100 years before his son, the foolish Kai Kaos, succeeded him. Kai Kaos, not content with his kingdom, sought to conquer Mazindaran, ruled by Devas. Despite Zal's warnings, he marched into Mazindaran, where he and his army were imprisoned and blinded by the White Deva. Hearing of their plight, Rustam set out on a perilous journey alone. He faced numerous trials: a lion attack, thirst in the desert, and a dragon, which he defeated with Rakush's help. He also overcame a sorceress and befriended Olad, who guided him to the White Deva's lair. Rustam entered the cavern, defeated the guards, and slew the White Deva, restoring Kai Case and his army. Despite this, Kai Case continued to undertake foolish adventures, repeatedly needing rescue by Rustam. During one hunt near Turan's borders, Rustam fell asleep, leaving Rakush to graze. Turanian men captured Rakush. Rustam followed Rakush's tracks to Samangan, where the king promised to find the horse. That night, the king's daughter, enamored with Rustam, visited him. She offered to restore Rakush if Rustam would marry her. Rustam, captivated by her beauty and longing for his horse, agreed. They married, and Rustam left her with a bracelet, instructing that if their child was a daughter, it should be placed in her hair; if a son, on his arm. In time, the princess bore a son, Sohrab, whom she raised with tales of his father's valor, though she wrote to Rustam claiming she had a daughter to protect him from Afrasiab. Sohrab, eager for glory, planned to dethrone Kai Chaos and place Rustam on the throne, unaware of Afrasiab's schemes to pit father against son. As Sohrab grew, Afrasiab, fearing the power of Rustam and his son together, manipulated events to lead Sohrab into battle against his own father. Despite numerous opportunities to learn the truth, fate kept them ignorant of their bond. In their final confrontation, Sohrab, sensing a connection, asked if Rustam was his father. Rustam, believing the boy could not be his son, denied it. For 3 days they battled fiercely. On the 4th day, Rustam mortally wounded Sohrab. As he lay dying, Sohrab revealed his parentage, and Rustam, in agony, recognized the bracelet he had given Tamani. Desperate, he sought a healing potion from Kai Chaos, who out of jealousy refused. Sohrab died in Rustam's arms, breaking his father's heart. In grief, Rustam destroyed his possessions and mourned deeply, while the house of Zal was plunged into sorrow. In Samangan, the princess died of grief within a year. Meanwhile, in Iran, Kai Chaos's son Siawash fled to Turan, becoming popular and marrying Afrasiab's daughter. However, jealousy led to his murder by Afrasiab. Siawash's son, Kai Khusrau, was hidden and raised by a Gothard, protected from Afrasiab's wrath. When the death of Siawash reached Iran, the kingdom mourned and war was declared against Turan. For 7 years, the struggle continued with no success until Gudars dreamed of Kai Khosrau, destined to lead them to victory. Kai Khosrau, found and brought to Iran, led his people triumphantly, eventually becoming king. Kai Khosrau ruled wisely, avenging his father's death and defeating Afrasiab. Fearing pride would corrupt him, he prayed to Ormuz to take him. He prepared his kingdom, appointed his successor Lohorasp, and embarked on a final journey to the mountains. Many friends accompanied him, but only a few survived the treacherous journey. Lohorasps' son, Gushtasp, became king but grew jealous of his own son, Isfendiar. Promising him the throne for defeating enemies, Gushtasp betrayed him, imprisoning him until another threat arose. Isfendiar, after many trials, rescued his sisters from a fortress and returned triumphantly. Gushtasp, still jealous, sent Isfendiar to capture Rustam. Despite their mutual respect, Rustam and Isfendiar fought. Rustam, severely wounded, called the Simura, who healed him and instructed him to use a tamarisk branch to strike Isfendiar's eyes. Isfendiar died, cursing his father's betrayal. Rustam's end came through treachery by his half-brother Shugdad, who lured him into a pit of hidden stakes. Mortally wounded, Rustam killed Shugdad with a final arrow, dying heroically. His death marked the end of an era of great heroes, leaving a legacy of valor, tragedy, and the enduring struggle between good and evil in the Shah-nameh.